Alright, today we're going to be taking a quick look at this OBSBOT Meet 2 compact webcam. It's capable of 30 frames per second at 4K and 60 frames per second at 1080. It's got a half-inch CMOS sensor, so it should provide a good picture in lower light conditions. But the big draw for me is that it's also capable of not only displaying a picture in a horizontal aspect ratio, but also a vertical aspect ratio. And as you probably know, if you're watching this video, many of the streaming platforms have kind of made the switch to the vertical aspect ratio being kind of the more popular video framing. So I wanted a webcam that could handle that, because I'm not always going to use my phone, especially if I'm in my office or working with the computer. I'd rather just have a webcam that'll do it. And my understanding is this will do it, and all you have to do is flip it one way or the other. So what we're going to do is get this taken out of a box. We'll take a look at what it comes with, and then I'm going to familiarize myself with the software and the features, and I'll run through some of those with you as well. Alright, so I've spared you from having to watch me open the box and take everything out, but I will say that everything was nicely packaged. The documentation has a little pouch to keep it in, and the documentation is provided in multiple languages. The text is honestly just a little too small for my aging eyes, but that's true of pretty much any booklets that come with products these days. So currently I have the privacy cover on, and it's just a magnetically attached privacy cover, but I think it's nice because it also helps to keep dust and other contaminants off the glass when you're not using the camera. And again, it's just a magnet. The camera itself also attaches magnetically to the monitor stand, so I think that's kind of cool. The camera can also be mounted on a tripod, as you can see, so that's a nice feature. A USB to USB-C cable is included. I think it's about 5 feet long, and it has a nice feel. It seems like a nice cable, which honestly makes a difference. You know, when you buy a product and it requires a USB-C cable and they give you some, 3-foot flimsy cable, it's not great because you end up having to buy a better cable. This feels like a quality cable and 5 feet long. And they also give you the USB-C to USB-A adapter in case your computer doesn't have USB-C. Alright, so I've had an opportunity to familiarize myself with the OBSBOT Meet 2 camera, and I have to say that I'm really impressed with the picture clarity, how well it works, the ease of use, pretty much the entire thing. I'll also share that I am using the microphones on the camera to record this portion of the video, and often this room is really echoey, and I typically would use a different microphone to compensate for that. But in the few recordings I've done so far, I think the mics sound great. The other thing is I am feeding the video directly to the recording software right now because I wanted to show you the picture clarity. Once I switch over to the desktop screen capture portion of the video so that we can look at OBSBOT Center, the video won't look as crisp. So I wanted to show you what the video looks like when being directly or recorded directly. Last feature, this feature does not work in the OBSBOT Center software, so I wanted to show you. Switching from a horizontal to a vertical aspect ratio image is easy. I just flip the camera over to the side and it changes the aspect ratio. Now, I would typically need to change the canvas size of my recording software to accommodate that. It's not something I would normally do on the fly necessarily, but it does it. So that's the important thing. I'm going to switch over to the desktop capture right now so we can look at the OBSBOT Center software. Alright, so what we're looking at here is the OBSBOT Center, and I'm just recording a portion of my screen so that we can see the video as well as the software. There's a video preview icon here. It's the leftmost icon, and it allows you to manipulate and dial in the image, without having to open some other video software. So it's nice. You can do it right in the OBSBOT Center. Auto framing is a feature that I knew the camera had, but I didn't mention it in the intro. I actually didn't think it was something that would be that useful, but I do now. I flip that to upper body. Okay. And so it tries to digitally move the framing around and keep you, or group mode would try to do it with multiple people. Single close up should zoom in a little closer probably. Okay. So I think that is a neat feature. You have some preset zoom settings here, and they obviously get grayed out when you have auto framing enabled, because you're telling the software to do it, or the camera to do it for you. You have a slider here that you can also use to zoom in. And you have a gimbal here that you can also use to, here, let's go to narrow, to adjust the framing manually. If we go to wide, that's basically the frame, right? So, and there's another feature. We'll show you that in a minute. Okay, if I go over to the image tab here, we have HDR enabled. My computer has HDR capabilities, the video card, the monitors. If you enable HDR, like in video games, you're going to have a clearer, more crisp image. Okay, autofocus is enabled, and I think it works great. Right now I have it set to face, but you could also set it to global. Typically, if you're going to be streaming or having a meeting, you're going to have it on face probably. But if I cover up my face, and so the thing I find impressive about the autofocus is how quickly it finds focus, and I think it works better than, I would say, many of the cameras I've used in the past. And oftentimes what they'll do is they zoom in, they zoom out, they blur, they unblur, and then they finally find a picture that they decide they like. This one finds it. So you have a lot of other picture, tweaks you can do here: contrast, saturation, sharpness. And I'm not going to play with these today because I don't want to mess the image up too much. And you find those settings in other camera related software as well. If I go to more, now this is something that I touched on. I mentioned we did it by accident, right? The auto zoom feature. I stand back and make the gesture, right? So I can enable and disable zoom, or have it zoom in a certain amount, and you can set how much to zoom in for the gesture. Okay, so I think that's pretty cool. Same with auto framing. Now we disabled auto framing before I moved off the console tab, but now if I sit back, hold my hand up, it does it. Now, you'll notice that the camera reacted before the software actually showed the change happening, and that's thrown me a little bit when making this video. You typically wouldn't be looking at the software. You're just going to say, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. You're going to hold your hand up anyways. So it works. Works really well, I think. You have some other settings up here that I'm not going to go through all of them. As I mentioned, there are so many features to this camera. I don't want to cover everything in this one video, but I am going to cover this tab here because I think that it's something that people are probably using or will use if they buy this camera. It's the beauty tab, and certainly I probably should use it or could use it, but I'm just going to show you some of the functionality. We'll have some fun with it, but it's not something I'm probably going to use. So you have the ability, like a lot of social media software programs or, image programs, you can really dial in the image, okay? So you can see, and I'm going to exaggerate it so you get the idea. That's where we're at right now. If I flip back, okay? Now I'm going to go over to face here. That was just basic. That was the overall. And on the face, right, we can really dial these in. Actually, let's leave that long. Let's see if we can make an alien head here. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So that's me. I have no idea who that is. So there you go. Hopefully you found the video helpful. If you're looking for a tiny webcam that's just packed full of features and functionality. I don't think you can go wrong with the OBSBOT Meet 2. The fact that it will, record in horizontal and vertical aspect ratios, that was the big selling point for me. But with the auto framing and the ability to zoom with gestures, and if I'm playing guitar and I want to manipulate that functionality without having to touch the mouse, I mean, that's cool. So, hey, again, thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day and take care.